Welcome. What I'd like to do in this short video is to talk about configuring interfaces on a Cisco router. A couple of tips on configuring interfaces. The first one is be sure you use the correct cable. Remember, like to like is a crossover. When you connect the serial ports, one has to be a DTE and one has to be a DCE. And speaking of serial, for the serials, don't forget the clock rate on the DCE. If it's not there, the protocol will remain down. We'll look at that when we get into the actual configurations. We'll set up some things and some things that you might see in different configurations, right, wrong, and indifferent. Don't forget the no shut command, the no shutdown command. Remember that in Cisco, all of the interfaces start out in the shutdown condition, and that's part of the configuration file that they are shut down. Check the interface status with the show IP interface brief command. That'll give you a lot of hints about what's going on and give you an idea of what, if they're not working, of what you may need to or want to check to be sure that you can communicate among your routers or between your routers. Okay, I've just opened Packet Tracer, and this is the topology that I'm going to use to go through this thing. Also to do static and RIP routes. We'll do a little demo on that after we go through the configuring the interfaces. Notice that on these I'm going to use the .1 address for the gateways. The gateways being the areas that are going to be connected to the networks that we're worried about, that we want to be able to get information from one to the other. The connections between the routers are the 192, it should say 168.168.1 network, and we're going to use a 30-bit subnet mask so that we don't waste addresses. We could use a Class C network with each of these, but we only need 2 addresses. By using the subnet, we can use the .1 network subnetted into 4 addresses per network address, broadcast address, 2 usable addresses, and only use 1 subnet to connect all of our routers. So to get started with these, let's go into this one, and notice that I have the interfaces showing here. Fast Ethernet 00, Ethernet 10. In order to do that, in the preferences, you can click the port labels always shown. That makes things, to me, makes things a little bit easier when we actually go in to look at these things. So I'll go into this one, and we'll go into the command line interface. It's just started. Do I want to configure with the dialog? And I'm going to say no, because hopefully I know what I'm doing. The enable command, what we want to go to first is Fast Ethernet 00. So INTF. Now, no, it's not either. Config T, configuration mode, and then INT FA, Fast Ethernet. I notice I use the tab key there, 0//0. And then we'll put it on IP address 192.168.2.1, because you notice up here it's connected to the 2.0 network. I have put the networks that these things are going to go to, type them on to the packet tracer. So this one's the 2.0 network, the 3.0 network. And then we need the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. And then we need to give it the no shut command, the no shutdown command. And it changed status from down to up. In order to be able to demonstrate clock rate down here, the first thing I want to do is configure serial 00 up here on the second router. So we'll go into here, and again, what we want to do with we want to continue with the dialog. We're going to say no, enable config T, and then we're going to go to interface serial 0/0. And I'm using, I've added these, I'm using 192.168.1.4 network, which will give me the 1.1 and the 1.2. So I'm going to use for this one IP address 192.168.1.2, 255.255.255.252 to give me my 30-bit subnet mask. And then again, I need to know shut command. And it says it changed the state to down. First it tried to go up and then it tried to go down. Control Z. Let's try the show IP interface brief. And it says that 000 has an address. Yes, it's manual down and the protocol is down. That means that we're not connected at layer 1, layer 2. So now then, let's go over here to our router 1, which we have been on, and we can go into config T, interface 00/0 IP address 192.168.1.5 255.255.252, right? No shut. And you notice that the interface 00 changed state to up. Well, I haven't done the clock rate yet, so let's look at the show IP interface brief and see what we get. It says that the 1.5, okay, manual up, but the protocol is down. The protocol is down means that we're not actually connecting at layer 2. So let's go back into it and give it a clock rate of 56,000. The clock rate doesn't really matter. It's just something that we have a timing mechanism. It does not affect the bandwidth. Later on, we're going to have a bandwidth command that will affect the bandwidth. So now we've changed the state to up. Show IP interface brief, and it says that we are fully up. So let's see if we can ping 192.168.1.6, and it is successful. So we have both of the interfaces configured on this router. We have a serial interface, fully up, fully functional, going between one and the other. We obviously can't get any place else because we haven't configured any addresses, and we couldn't get any place else because we haven't configured any routes. The next thing we'll do is to configure the routes. Hope this has been useful on the configuration of the interfaces. Thanks for watching.